Hello, everyone. How are you doing today? My name is Mary Cronert, and hey, welcome back to another live stream artist chat that we do every Tuesday here on the Living Room Art Studios Instagram, just to, well, how would you describe them? I suppose we just have an informal conversation with another amazing creator or change maker out there in the world. Hello and welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Now, if you can't stay for the whole chat, that's okay. We do archive them on the Instagram page once they have ended, and we throw them up on YouTube a few weeks after, just so folks can catch them on different platforms, whatever feels best to them. But for today's chat, we're super excited to be connecting with someone whom we only met because of the pandemic. I think that's fair to say. Someone who started attending our live stream pop-up art studios on Wednesdays on Facebook. And it's just one of those amazing things about this very difficult and uncertain time that we've been through and continue to go through in a lot of different ways, that even the darkest, most difficult things have these beautiful moments, these gifts. And meeting this creator was one of those gifts. Lottie Scroggie is this extraordinary creator, poet, spoken word artist, creative writing student at Leeds Arts University, have to get that out there, but someone who is also pushing the boundaries on how we think about art and disability and wellness and creativity and activism, particularly when it comes to ableism in our cultures. And there's a lot of ableism out there, and especially within ourselves, that we need to confront and unpack and figure out if we want to move forward in the best possible way for everyone. So, you know what? I'm not very good at these introductions. If you've been watching these for a while, you are probably aware of that. So I'm going to let Lottie introduce themselves for you. So let's just send Autistic Potato, best handle ever. Let's send them an invite and see if they can join us. And I hope they can. I mean, I say see if we can. There we go. So let's see if we can send an invite. Oh, let's see. Waiting, waiting, waiting. And of course, if you are watching and you have questions for Lottie, you can always feel free to put them in the chat. You can also just say hello and stuff like that if you like, because some people might be familiar with Lottie from our Wednesday live streams that we do, and you may have chatted with her in the past. So this gives you another opportunity to get to know her. Let's see. Waiting, waiting, waiting. There's always this little nervous moment while we're waiting for someone. Oh, hi. I see.
Hi.
Eyes.
Unless I'm up. It's all right. Avert your eyes, kids. How's that?
That's fantastic.
I had a stick, but I was like testing camera angles and everything. It just turned me sideways.
You know what? Technology, we do what we can with what we have. And I am so happy to be seeing your face and hearing your voice at the same time. What an amazing thing.
It's nice to like speak to you like face to face, and it's not like typing or on a phone. It's like a proper conversation.
Exactly. Yeah, and if you want to take a moment just to adjust your camera, there we go. All the social media.
Turning the volume up.
That's it. Whatever works. So I gave like a really kind of quick intro to everyone who's watching and listening. But would you like to introduce yourself in your own words?
Okay, cool. I'm Lottie. She, her pronouns, they, them, she, them. Yeah. I'm a writer, poet. I'm starting out with spoken word. I'm a creative writing student at Leeds Arts University. I'm a disabled creator. I have autism, currently self-diagnosed, but won't be next Wednesday. I'll be properly diagnosed. Woo! I've got fibromyalgia, Raynaud's disease, and some mental health issues. I really want to get into advocacy writing. That's something I've explored at university, and I've seen influencers on TikTok doing the same thing. I do other... Got the words. Give me a minute.
Yeah, take your time. It's all good. We've got plenty of time, so no need.
I do other creative stuff like drawing, fan art, crafts. I take inspiration from my writing from personal events. and I like to make them all cute and kawaii. I'm very into kawaii stuff. I actually originally did science at college, so for Canadian viewers, it's like college for us is like the end of high school for you, like the last two grades. And I joined the creative writing group at college, and that's how I got onto the creative writing path. If I could describe myself as a Harry Potter character, it would be Luna Lovegood if she was a Hufflepuff.
So why Luna as Hufflepuff, if I could ask?
A lot of people say that I'm like Luna, and I fit the qualities of Hufflepuff more than Ravenclaw.
Okay. All right. Luna's one of my favorite characters.
Same.
Yeah. Someone who's perceived as an outsider, but has no issues with just being themselves, doesn't necessarily care what anyone thinks.
Exactly. And it took me so long to get to the stage where I could be myself and not care what people think. Because with like autism, especially as a female, I spent like 18 of me 20 years masking. And it took a lot of unlearning to learn how to be myself, and access to cute clothes, of course. Have to add that in there.
Then that's something too. When you were discussing the different parts of yourself, the creative elements of yourself, of course, when I look at you and I see you, how you present yourself to the world is completely a creative act. It's beautiful and fantastic, and
Thank you.
and kawaii, we have quite a few kawaii fans out there in the community, so you're not alone with that. So before we jump into talking about writing, you've mentioned a few elements of autism that I think might be interesting for our community to learn more about if they don't know about already, including masking. Can you describe for you what masking means in your life? Would you be open to that?
Yeah, sure. So masking as an autistic person, it's like you're pretending to be someone else to fit in. So you might mirror other people's behaviours. So say you and me were in a conversation, I might mirror your mannerisms, the way you speak, the way you dress, just so I can fit in. I don't want to say a coping mechanism, but it does protect us a bit from being bullied and being perceived as weird. I mean, when I masked, I was still perceived as weird. There was no way for me to hide the weirdness, but masking, you're pretty much not being your authentic self in a way, but it's how you learn to fit in, because the world isn't built for neurodivergent people, it's built for neurotypical people.
I agree. And it's a long, like that process of catching and learning and unlearning that's a lot. That's a huge journey for anyone to go on. When did you first realize that was something that you were doing, that you weren't able to be your true self?
I didn't know that I was autistic until around 16ish. I had a massive mental breakdown at the start of college, and I had to leave for a year and come back, and I was under a mental health service, and in their report they mentioned that autism should be explored. We didn't, but I did research the condition, and it was actually my mum's mental health lady, because she is also neurodivergent. My mum wouldn't mind me saying this, but she has bipolar. And it was actually the nurse that said, "Oh, I think your daughter could be autistic." And that's when it was really explored, and we went to my doctor to seek a diagnosis.
Wow. And you were mentioning to me that it's been a longer process than most.
Yeah, it's been long for everyone, because it's the NHS. There's long waiting lists, and also apparently there's only one psychologist for my local service. So for me, it's taken just under 2 years. So I went to the doctor in December 2019. I first entered the service around January, February time. I had my triage appointment in April in 2020. my assessment happened January 2020,
Yeah.
2021 even, and I'm getting my final diagnostic appointment on Wednesday, next
Woo,
Wednesday.
woo. I hope all goes well as much as possible, because that's
Oh,
something that I from a lot of people, you know, it doesn't matter what we dance with, but having a name to give something and finally having information that you can, you know, things you can learn and, you know, accept and move through. It's such a powerful thing to have that named in an official way, isn't it?
exactly, because I always knew that I was different to my peers around me.
Yeah.
And a big part of that is for my condition, because autism is different in everyone. It's different in women, but it's different in like everyone. Every people have different traits. It's not this is not autistic, this is autistic, you're somewhere on that scale. It's more like a circle with like different traits, and you could be here or you could be here. Um Everyone seems to be growing up quicker than I was. Like in my second year of high school, people were thinking about getting boyfriends and going out drinking, whereas I was quite happy sat at home playing with my dolls.
Yeah.
And I was called out for being different. But also, even earlier than that, when I was more in tune with my peers,
Yeah.
development wise, I still felt different. And also comparing to other teenage girls or young women like me about how they grew up. And I did stuff differently or later than when they did.
Yeah.
And I approached things different to how they did.
And was it like when you have something, when you're realizing, oh, okay, so there's nothing wrong with me, I'm just different. There's, you know, this is just my brain works in a different way from other people. Is there a kind of freedom that comes with that? Was there a sense of like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and especially learning about the joys and the woes of autism
Mhm.
from different creators, influencers.
Yeah.
It is because yeah, it is a disability. It's a developmental disability, but you have qualities that other people don't have.
Hmm.
Like organization, I'm very organized. I love spreadsheets. I love things to be in their place and tidy.
Yeah.
And I will take time to make sure everything's tidy. I'm routine. I like being prompt. I made sure I was prompt for this live stream.
Yeah.
You can guarantee that I won't be late to something unless it's absolutely out of my power. And I can't stand change. Like everything has to be the same.
Yeah.
So you can guarantee that something will be the same with me. I'll follow the same pattern.
So how, if I may sort of veer into the creative aspect of things, how do you think this influences or informs your creative approach?
So let me readjust. So from a creative approach, I tackle like the autistic side and the diagnosis of and discovering that you are autistic through a character called Unikitty.
Yeah.
No relation to the Lego movie Unikitty, may I add. It's a temporary name that stuck. And Unikitty goes on adventures in the land of Fluffyland, and it's very fairy tale-esque. The language of how it's all written, it's more catered to like a younger generation, but what's going on is more catered to like teens,
Mm.
and it kind of like goes through the journey of Unikitty being Unikitty.
Yeah.
And I've tackled things like hate crime. I've tackled things like being called out at high school for being different
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
I
And
love Unikitty. I love this uh, persona, I suppose, like a creative persona that's an extension of who you are, but speaks the truth in a way that somehow uh, it's a focused kind of truth that might be difficult for a lot of people like myself just to grasp. Unikitty finds the words. Unikitty finds a way to share that with people.
and sometimes Unikitty just does something that Unikitty does, like she learns to ride a bike, which is actually linked because I still can't ride a bike.
I
I
can't
think the,
know how to ride a bike. I've never learned. I tried to learn twice and then I got scared.
my first bike ride was a couple of weeks ago, and that was on a trike. There
Oh,
was a scheme. I live across the road from a park,
yeah.
and they had like a scheme where you can like ride a bike, and it was like all catered for like disabled people, because we had a friend she's not elderly, but she's older,
Yeah.
and she has health issues. So I got on a trike. My mum got a bike, and there was like a seat at the end of it. And
Yeah.
this lady was able to sit on the seat and go for a bike ride. Although the only problem was it cut off the circulation on her legs. So her feet were numb and slippers were going everywhere, bless her. But back to the Unikitty learns to ride a bike, and she actually manages it until she crashes and falls into a bin, which rolls down a hill, and then she ends up having to go to hospital.
Oh,
Poor Unikitty.
oh, Unikitty. I can relate to that a little bit. So, and do you always write as Unikitty, or do you also write as Lottie?
Not always. If it's a Unikitty story, then it's a Unikitty story. But I do other works. I did a fan fiction work a while ago. It was actually for one of my creative writing units,
Okay.
uni, and I was actually commended for being the first person to really delve into fan fiction. Yay! Yeah, I've recently gotten into poetry. It's actually since starting the course. Well, maybe a little bit before that, because I did do a lockdown poem just before I left college, and it was like a whole video and everything. But it's been more at uni that I started getting more into poetry, and I found that if I try and do poetry, it's rubbish. It's absolute crap. But if I just bang one out at like 2-3 o'clock in the morning, it's great.
So
I just don't bother trying. I just go, oh, type it out. There we go, sorted.
So I feel that's a real lesson in kind of letting the creativity come rather than trying to force it.
Yeah.
I was going to ask about that though, because I know that, well, you know, in the living room, we talk a lot about the inner critic and how the inner critic can get in the way and prevent us from doing what we want, creating what we want. Is that like, how do you deal with the inner critic? Because I imagine you must have one as well.
If in doubt, I ask my mum.
Ah,
No, my mum, she's used to proofreading stuff.
beautiful.
I think the main thing is reading it. I kind of more focus on spag and grammar and making sure everything flows right.
What's
If it's spelling, punctuation, and grammar.
okay, got it.
Yeah, sorry, I should have.
No, I thought sometimes I know that there are different terms for some things in the UK than there are here. So
Yeah, yeah, no, I don't really think about that. If I think something's crap, I just park it and come back to it later.
awesome.
Or if an idea doesn't turn out right, I just either write down the idea and wait, come back to it later, or just rewrite it. It's like not an issue.
Have you always, I mean, when I hear you talk about that, that to me feels like remarkably, well, one, mature, and two, it's remarkably compassionate. It feels like this love of self that's like, okay, it's not what it is right now, but rather than sit in it and judge myself and be overly critical, I'm just going to put it aside and come back to it later. And who knows what I'll see with when I look at it with fresh eyes. Have you always been like that?
I think so. I think more towards my work, because I'm going to shout out my mum again. She's very hyped me up about everything I do, like about my studies, my writing, especially as I've gotten into creative writing at college.
Yeah.
My mum's always been there to hype me up, and also because I've been self-critical about myself and who I am and my abilities. I didn't want to do that. And if something is rubbish, it's rubbish. Like you said, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Just rewrite it. It's not a problem. I've got room on my laptop, my iPad, my phone, whichever. Just rewrite it.
That's a beautiful So why do we have such an easy time? Like, how is it that it's more difficult for us to treat ourselves with that same kind of compassion?
I know.
Right?
It's so hard. Because
Yeah.
also, because I have been bullied at school, and I don't have a great relationship with all my family.
Mm.
It seems I have been told things that have not been nice and has affected my self-esteem. So that has had an impact. But the weird thing is with work, because I've had so much support of my work,
Yeah.
I seem to take a more mature approach, like with my mum hyping me up, other family members hyping me up and supporting me through this my writing journey. And this was seen in my poem about with high heels. And like friends and family were commenting and hyping me up, saying send in love and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And you commented as well about different, not less, what Chloe Hayden, an Australian influencer who is also autistic and likes to advocate, said.
Yeah. It's, I think if only everyone could get to a point where if I had a magic wand, I mean, that's kind of like this beautiful thing to just keep mentioning to myself, reminding to myself every day that it's different, not less. Um, and that poem in particular, which I posted in the event, but maybe I'll share it again after this live stream, if with your consent, of course. Or people, hey, you can visit Autistic Potatoes site, their Instagram page, and you can see the poem there. So
You
do
said
that.
you wanted me to read some work out, didn't you?
Would love that if you want to. Is there something right now that you'd like to share?
Well, I kind of picked out three in case she called upon me to go, hey, read something out. Surprise! But if you want me to read the High Hills out because
Whatever
we've
poem.
just been talking about it, you have to give me a minute to find it. I've got pictures of dogs and all
That's okay.
sorts.
Johan says hi. I think you've met Joe in the live stream before. Just wanted to say hi. And Joe says you're an inspiration.
Hey, Joe, thank you. Right, I've only read this out once, and this was to my friend Lorna earlier. So I've not practiced this. Hopefully, it'll go all right. Let me take a sip of water quickly.
Oh yeah, take your time. I'll take you.
Sippy, sippy.
Exactly.
Have you watched Graveyard Girl?
Hmm?
Graveyard Girl. Have you watched Graveyard Girl? She's
No,
the queen of sippy, sippy. She goes sippy, sippy.
I'll have to check it out. Where do I find Graveyard Girl?
She's on YouTube and she does like hauls and like shoe collection. She's very like dark and she's so individual and she's so cool.
Okay, I'll check her out. Okay.
Okay. So this is my poem about high heels.
All right.
The change was quick as I went from high heels to a walking stick. I aged 40 years overnight. There's no end to my pain in sight. It took 3 months for my fibromyalgia to take hold. It took my body, mobility, my friends, and my soul. And I fight for my family to understand. I fight for my creativity and the use of my hands, as they're the only things I have left. Looks like the me I once knew is dead. Because I've aged 40 years overnight, and there's no end for my fibro in sight. And the change from being able to disabled was quick, as I went from high heels to a walking stick.
Beautiful work. Beautiful and hard to listen to, hard to imagine that change happening that quickly.
And it is hard hitting because I performed at Leeds Poetry Festival back at the end of July, and the shoes I was wearing were like big Demonia high heels. Thanks, Joe. And they were tall, and I was a bit, oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wobbling. My mum had to help me on and off the stage.
Mm-hmm.
And then it got to a point where my balance was so bad, it's no longer safe for me to go outside. And obviously, university is starting next week and we're doing blended learning. But there are days where I'm going to have to travel to Leeds and it's not safe for me to be crossing roads and being at a rail station if the balance is bad. So it's gotten to the point where I need to use a walking stick. My stick hasn't actually arrived. I've got to wait till tomorrow, but it's all pink.
Of course,
like the handle, the bit at the bottom, the thing, the actual stick bit, it's all pink. And I've got like little keychains I can put on the handle, stickers. There was a TikTok creator, I cannot remember her name, but she's so cool. Oh, thanks, Mum.
Hey, Lottie's mom.
Hey. Yeah, and she's got fibro as well, and she had a pink stick and she decorated it with stickers and keychains. It's so cute. So I took a lot of inspiration for that, and I searched my local market, I searched everywhere for a pink stick, and I finally got one.
That is amazing. Now, okay, just talking about, I'll come back to the poetry in a moment, but fashion and ableism, I feel like there's still a lot of weird things going on. Well, not weird, there's just a lack of style within a lot of the supports and supplies and resources for people who are like differently abled. Like you shouldn't have to search forever to find a pink walking stick. You should be able to find, like, choose out of a rainbow of colors. I'm hoping that that's going to change soon with people like you who are kind of owning it and saying, I want a pink walking stick and I want it to have fun things hanging off it. And yeah, never mind. That's just my thing. Sorry.
Yeah. Thanks, Sam. Because I was in my local market, it was a few weeks ago, and because my friend has a stall, a wax melt stall, and opposite it there was like a jewelry section, and they had walking sticks, and there was a pink stick there, and they had like yellow, blue, red. It was loads of colours, but when I went to get the pink stick, it had all sold out because they were going like hotcakes because everyone wants different coloured sticks. And also with wheelchairs as well, it's so hard to get a coloured wheelchair because the TikToker that I was on about with her pink stick, she's raised enough money to get a wheelchair, and oh, it's okay, Joe. Thanks for turning up. Oh,
Pink's Joe's favorite color. Oh, Joe.
It's mine too. Yeah, wheelchairs. You can't. It's so hard to get a pink wheelchair. It's mostly black. And if you want to customize your wheelchair, you've got to take it to like a car place, places that decorate cars, and get it painted there.
Do you think that might pink? Do you think it might change as the conversations around around disability and what it is or means or can be to be a disabled person, or a person with disability rather? Like, do you think things will change and that there'll be more options for people, for community members moving forward?
Well, not to get political, not in our government, but I hope that companies do take other people on board and do colours of wheelchairs and sticks, have a more wide variety, because even though we have a disability, we have a right to look cute.
Yes.
Not all disabled people are frumpy and smelly. Like, to get disability benefits in our country and to actually get approved for it, we have to turn up in dirty pajamas, hair, all that, to even be considered. And then if we get the wrong assessor, they will lie on our report and we won't get approved because they get paid more to decline us. That's how our government works, because I've had to do this like with my mum because she claims disability and I might have to at a later point.
Yeah.
But we have to not be our true authentic selves, and we have to amplify our disability. Not saying lie, but we have to give them our worst day in the hopes that we'll be approved, and we probably won't, and we'll have to take it to court to actually get approved for disability.
You know, there's something to that. Now, I don't know where, like, folks might be listening from different places in the world, and it might be different where you are. I hope it's much better, but I think there's certainly things here from friends who live with various disabilities in Canada, and they've similar experiences. There seems like the stigma that surrounds living, like being differently abled, there's a stereotype that comes along with that in many cases. And so if you are not displaying that stereotype when you go to advocate for yourself or reach out for those supports, people are less likely to think that it's serious or to take you at your, to believe you when you say, this is what my life is like, and this is why I need these supports. It's an interesting and tricky area. You mentioned earlier about wanting to write more from an advocacy perspective. What is it that you mean when you talk about that?
It's more getting information across about pardon me. It's more getting information about different disabilities and invisible illnesses. I mean, my invisible illnesses are more visible because I'm going to be going out with a stick. But yeah, it's just getting information across and maybe advice, see how I handle things, and if it'd be useful to other people.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any writers who are writing in that style that you admire?
I've not seen writers per se.
Yeah.
It's mostly because I did a piece on Jeremy the Dud, which is a short. It's an Australian short which you can see on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes place in a world where society is all disabled,
mm-hmm.
but the able people, they get the backlash and the stereotype and the stigma they get. It's like the world opposite.
Yeah.
And you see how it is through Jeremy's eyes as a able person.
Yeah. Yeah. I think narratives like that, stories like that, people being able to speak their truth and that will slowly change. I think that's one of the things that art is really powerful for, because when you can speak your truth as an artist from your own unique place of lived experience, then it reaches someone else. It connects with them. It resonates with them in a way that perhaps they wouldn't otherwise have expected if they'd only seen you, or perhaps, met you through a clinical context. Art seems to get the message across in a different way, doesn't it?
Yeah, and with my High Hills poem,
yeah,
because fibromyalgia, it's very varied in other people. It's also very misunderstood, and some medical people do not believe in fibro. It's the same for people that work for our welfare benefits service here, the DWP. Some of them don't believe in fibromyalgia, and they won't approve us for that. And people don't understand what it is. Like I was told that because I suffer with chronic pain, that's part of the fibromyalgia. It's the big part of fibro. I was told that my pain wasn't as bad as someone else's, and it's like it's not the same thing. My pain is different to theirs, but it's still as valid, and it's still there, and it still affects me on a day-to-day basis. So this High Hills poem, it was more to grieve for the fact that I can't wear heels anymore. Well, I might be able to if the balance gets a little bit better, or if I'm taking photos, I can pop them on. But it's more the impact that my disability has. So I've gone from being a normal able person to someone who needs to rely on a walking stick because my fibro has affected my balance that bad.
Yeah. I'm sorry. You know what? I never just said that. I'm sorry.
That's all right. It's gotten to the point I did grieve for a long time. It was a bit like, oh yeah, I've got fibro. Oh, my life is going to be a lot different now. Oh dear. It's gotten to the point that I've accepted that my life is going to be different, and there will be a day where I'll be able to wear heels again. It's just I have to adapt to that. And there are also flat shoes that I can wear that are still cute. I've just got to find them. They're out there.
I think you will find them. I think if anyone will find them, you will. I think, yeah.
I'll sniff them out, yeah.
Do you have any other poems you want to share with us?
Yeah. You have to give me a minute to find them.
Oh, sure. I'll have another sip. Sip, sip, sippy, sippy. I can't steal her
Sippy,
thing.
sippy.
And welcome, folks, if you're joining us now. So glad to have you here.
Hey.
We're here with Lottie Scroggie, also known as Autistic Potato.
Yeah, and thank you for pronouncing my surname right as well, because people go Scroggie, and it's like, it's not. It's Scroggie. It's common. I'm not posh. I'm not posh at all. I've got a couple that I read out at Leeds Poetry Festival.
Oh,
Hey, Brandon.
see, it's so nice
Um,
like getting to see you and hear you that I've only seen you in chat before.
yeah, hey, I'm actually a human. I exist. I'm valid. I exist. Hey. Yeah, I can start off with Life in Colour if you want.
Yes, please. Yeah.
White fluffy clouds enveloped in the piercing blue sky. Forest green eyes looking directly into mine. Your bright orange hair is amazingly soft through my fingers. A red flush grows on your cheeks by the touch. We walk across the dull grey pavement. We try our best not to step in old faded gum that has been there since before we were born.
Mm.
Our hands are entwined. Your freshly painted yellow nail polish against my chipped black. My lips are tinted purple by the cold. Yours still petal soft and pink. The lips that tell me sweet, beautiful things that make my life complete. Yeah, you make my life complete. My life in colour.
Thank you again. So that is a really, that poem is beautiful. Do you want to, I mean, I shouldn't ask for backstory on pieces, but there's always a part of me that wants to know what inspired it.
It's a little boring, really.
Oh,
There was a call out for the university magazine that we have. Oh, thank you. There was a call out for our university magazine, Nest, and it was the colour issue. So we were trying to aim for like colourful pieces. The thing was all about colour. And I thought, I want to make a poem that has all the colours in. So, and I just banged that out. I kind of aimed for a female relationship, but I wanted to make it up to the reader as well, because people can wear nail polish, male or female, it doesn't matter. Or
yeah.
if you're not male or female, if you identify as another gender, that's valid,
Yeah.
and you can wear what you want. But I wanted something to incorporate all the colours in.
It's beautiful. And I
Thank
agree.
you.
Ravita, yeah, you make beautiful poetry.
Oh, thank you.
And I can't believe that it sounds like it's only been a few years since you've been writing. Is that true?
Well, I started writing like fan fiction and stuff when I was like 14-ish, but properly writing, like
Yeah.
writing stuff for an audience, it's been more hang on, 3 years, 4 years, 3 years. I'm gonna go with 3 years.
Okay. And so you were in sciences before that.
Yeah, so I'm going into my 4th year of writing. I was studying science because when I rejoined college, I didn't know what the hell I was doing, and I literally picked science because I liked science, and
Yeah.
I thought, oh, if I'm gonna get a job, then at least I've got a STEM subject, and I've still got it. So if I wanted to go into a science job later on in life, I
Yeah.
can. I've got the equivalent to an A level in UK qualifications wise. It's still there. I've got it. And the beauty of it is when I did science, because I did pretty much all 3 sciences, but it was classed as applied science because of the way it was. It's a vocational course. I was able, towards the end of my course, there was a unit on astronomy, stars, planets,
Gotcha.
space, all
Gotcha.
that.
Yeah.
And I was able to incorporate my writing and the science through videos, informative videos about space.
Yeah.
And one of my videos, because I only made 2 because COVID hit and then the course got cancelled, and it's pretty much any resubmissions you've got to do it, but you're going to get a predicted grade. You're done. See you later. Have fun at uni, basically. I was able to incorporate, I've already said that, haven't I? One of my videos actually got shown to my class. And there was also a member of staff from Lancaster University that
Yeah.
came to speak to us about space and stuff, and my tutor actually showed it to them. But I think if I hadn't have gone to Blackpool Sixth, I'm going to shout them out, I wouldn't have joined writing at all. Because even people like the science teachers and people who weren't into English and writing, I still got support from them, even though I was doing something completely different. And even people that were doing English and stuff like that, I got support from them too. Like there was not one person in that college that did not support me.
That's amazing. That's a kind of college or university experience I hope everyone has, that not everyone does. And what I love about that story, Lottie, is that it combines things. It's not like you have, to be an artist, you have to be over here and doing only these things. Like, why not combine sciences and creative writing? Why not have all those worlds collide so that you can tell really interesting stories?
Especially, yeah, definitely. Especially if you're writing reports and stuff and writing about science, you're still writing. It's non-fiction, but it's writing. And I'm glad I was able to get the support everywhere from Blackpool Sixth to get me to Leeds Arts, where I received even more support just for being there and being me as well. And I got a lot of help from my tutors, Karen and Sean, with my disabilities, about learning, especially when I got my fibro, going through my autism diagnosis pathway thing. Something fell.
That's okay. So shall we talk a little bit about Leeds Arts University and what it's been like, what that journey's been like for you?
Yeah. So I'm a level 5 student. It's my second year of uni. I'm going into that. I didn't really get to see a lot of Leeds because of lockdown in the UK. I've had to spend a lot of time here at home. But how the creative writing course at Leeds Arts differs from creative writing courses in another UK university. It's very practical. It's very practical based. We're very writey, and we hand in portfolios of work instead of dissertations. I mean, we probably might have to do one. I don't know. I'll have to ask the tutors. But we do more practical based stuff. We're not just sit there, oh yeah, this is a verb. It's not like English at all. We're more hands-on.
So not as like, I mean, a good balance of theory and practical application of the craft itself.
Yeah, we do theory, we just don't do as much of that. It's very practical based, and I like practical based stuff. Like with other courses, you might have to do a test on something. Like if I was to go and do a science course, I would have had to do exams and tests, and I don't do exams. I hate exams. And all we've got to do is a portfolio of work, a reflective journal where we do all our workings and how we got to that, and then we hand it in. And we don't have to do as much. We do like 3 big ones a year. And from when I did applied science, I was handing in like 3 a week. They might not have been as big, but it was work. It was a heavy workload. And I like the workload that we have at Leeds Arts because it doesn't feel as much. I'm doing loads, but it doesn't feel as much, and it isn't as stressful. That and the course, there's not a lot of people like in my cohort. I think there's like 12 of us on it, so it's quite a classes, and it's a small university as well because it's a small building. Quite tricky to get into. I think I looked and it was like the 9th hardest uni to get into, and the hardest uni outside of London to get into.
Wow, well, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, quite uni. It's pretty much being at college again, but I've got no one at college, if you know what I mean.
Because COVID? Is that just the weird of how it's the experience, the college experience has changed?
It has, because I spent a lot of first year online. I think I went into uni for 4 weeks, like in the building, and even then that was blended learning. And then it got to a point where it was unsafe for me to go out, because I have to protect my family, I have to protect my mum. So I spent the rest of the year online, and with second year, it's going to be blended learning again. So I'll be doing some work in there, some work online. But it means that it's a bit easier. If I have a bad day or a flare up with my fibro, it means I can join virtually. I have that option to do that. But I do really want to get into the building because I miss it, and I miss everyone, and I miss travelling in, and I miss going to Krispy Kreme, even though I'm not allowed to eat gluten because it affects me.
But the Krispy Kreme, I'm vegan, so I don't know if I've ever had a Krispy Kreme donut, but I can imagine the sugary, doughy goodness of it. Just kind of hitting that spot.
Yeah, me and my mum love them, but we're not allowed them. Well, my mum can technically get away with it, but I stay away from gluten because it messes with me, and it's something that's happened since before fibro, so I stay away. But
yeah,
I respect everyone that are vegans, and I really do. I think, wow, vegans are so cool, but I can never do it because I'm an absolute carnivore. I love my mayonnaise, and my mum wouldn't serve me vegan meals anyway. My mum has to have meat, therefore I will have meat, and I'm happy with that.
Okay, well, a conversation for another time then.
Yeah.
But I think I wanted to touch on your university experience a little bit because it's brought you such joy. And in the live stream Wednesdays, when you've been able to join us on Facebook, you can just feel that joy coming through.
Oh.
So happy to be doing something that you love, learning about something that you love with people who also are so passionate about it. And it got me thinking today, and like, you know, we're coming near the end of the hour. As always, with everyone I chat to, I know that we could go on. We could talk for hours and hours, I'm sure. And maybe we'll have you back another time to catch up. How would you feel about that?
Paul's crossed. That's something. If you're happy to have me, I'll come back.
Awesome.
Not an issue.
Oh, great. But for now, I was thinking, you know what, there might be people out there listening or watching right now, or maybe they watch it once it's archived, and maybe they're someone who, maybe they're a person living with a disability, or maybe they're not like neurodivergent, and maybe they've had similar experiences of not knowing where they belong or feeling like they can't be themselves, or maybe even that going to college or university or studying something that they love is not for them because of the disability they cope with. What would you say to those folks who are listening or watching who might be feeling that?
I think it's really important for people to face their fears and get in. If they want to go and do college or university, then try and do it. I mean, there is a course there for everyone. It might not be your local nearest university. I would search, because what I did was I searched around and I made sure I researched every uni on what course they were doing before choosing and applying. There will be a course out there for you. If you need to talk to someone about that, your best person, if you have a careers advisor or a job centre, speaking to them. If you're in the UK, I wouldn't recommend our job centre because they can be a bit rubbish, but we give it a try.
Yeah.
What was the question again?
Oh, just what advice, or kind of, not even advice, but what, like if there was anything that from your own place of experience that you'd want to share with folks. So maybe it's like if you were to talk, you know, talking to your younger self, like what would be nice for them to hear right now?
Yeah, literally, face your fears. There are people to support you. Like, talk to them about it. That's the big thing. Talk to someone you trust and know and love about your fears and face them, because it's only you that can do that. It's only you that can do things you want to do. Like with uni, I was gonna put off and do another course before joining uni, and it was actually not family members, but family members and people at sixth form that encouraged me to take the plunge and apply for university, and I did. And for the 5 universities I applied to, I got 5 offers back, and that was just based on me being me and my personal statement and my portfolio and stuff.
Yeah.
Literally, you do not know until you try. And Leeds Poetry Festival, when Karen, my tutor, mentioned about that, I was absolutely scared for that. I did it. I put my name down for it, but I was really scared. And the more I thought about it, the more easier it got, if you know what I mean. And because the last time I did like live speaking was my school nativity in like primary school, elementary school for you, baby. And I just stood on the stage and cried. So Leeds Poetry Festival, when it came to that, I got up and I actually spoke. I may have been a little bit socially awkward, but I did it.
I can't see it in the performance at all. You were extraordinary.
Yeah, and when we spoke yesterday, because we were like FaceTime, so I was expecting a FaceTime, and it came through as a call. And I don't do phone calls, but I did it. I spoke to you, and
Yeah.
it went all right. It's like everything is gonna be all right. It might be crap at the minute,
Hmm.
but time will pass, and you'll look back, and you'll be like, yeah, I did that. Holy floof, I did that. Me. I did that. I spoke to Mary on the phone. I did that. I could have gone out and run out the room,
Yeah.
but no, I pressed answer and I spoke. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, you're making me tear up over here.
Oh, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to be all sunshine and flowers.
Oh, I like crying. I encourage
Oh,
crying.
that's all right.
You know,
Oh,
cry if you want it, folks. It's been so beautiful chatting with you. I look forward to doing it again soon. In the last few minutes that we have left, do I, and it's okay if you don't, but is there another poem that you have that you might want to share with folks?
yep. Don't
Yeah.
worry. I'm determined to like fill this hour. Like, have enough time for it not to kick us off, but I'm determined to make the most of this because I've been so excited to do this.
Oh, you're
And I
amazing.
know my mum's watching. I know my tutors. I don't know if they're here at the minute, but they do know about this.
Yeah.
So I might as well make the most of it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna write. Oh, I'm gonna write. I wrote it, but oh, thank you. Oh, right. So I'm gonna read a poem called "Stitched with Love," which I wrote about stuffed animals and them taken over my bed because I've got loads.
Okay.
Stitched with love, stuffed with care, a cuddly friend that'll always be there. While friends arrive, you want the high, until the bed is full, room overtaken. What was your bedroom is no longer a safe haven. But they'll never leave, because they're your friends that'll always be there. A simple love of stuffies has turned into a nightmare.
Lottie. That's an intense piece as well.
Yeah, and if Hello Kitty decides to attack me, I'll throw her across the room. I've got a Hello Kitty stuffed animal.
Hello,
Yeah.
Kitty.
Yeah, and she's like the closest one to me, so if she decides to go for me, I'm prepared. Yeah. Oh, thank you.
You're getting a lot of love here, and your writing is getting a lot of love here as well. Yeah, I wish I could stay on longer, but Instagram will kick us off after an hour. So I guess I'm going to wrap this up now. Lottie, thank you so much for being here. If
Thank
folks,
you for having me on.
oh my goodness, anytime. If folks want to learn more or hear more of your poetry, your spoken word, or just follow you, like where can they find you online?
I have a writing account called Unikitty Writes, but I don't really post on there, and I've kind of given up with it to be quite honest. The
Okay.
best bet is my personal Instagram, Autistic Potato, with 2 underscores.
Oh no, I only put 1 underscore in, I think.
I
Okay.
found you all right. You found
Okay.
me all right.
Okay. So autistic potato with 2 underscores between autistic and potato. Okay.
Yeah,
Excellent.
and I want to get onto TikTok as well. I think I've got a couple on there, but I really want to get into Advocacy TikTok, and that's Autistic Potatoes on there. I think it's ES,
Okay.
like feet toes, potatoes.
Okay. All right. Well, you can share the tag with you if you like, and I can find it and share it as well. And I have no doubt that all those things you want to do, you will achieve because you're already doing this thing. And yeah, you are an absolute inspiration. And you make me want to sit down after this and just get writing. Just let it happen. Thank you
Thank
so much,
you.
Lottie. And hopefully we'll see you on the live stream soon, okay?
You will do.
All right. Have a wonderful and good luck with school.
Thank you. Have a lovely evening or day, whichever it is. Afternoon. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
2 o'clock your time. Afternoon, evening, next morning.
Thank you, Lottie. See you soon, okay?
See you soon. Bye.
Bye. Wow. Okay. That was just another lovely Instagram live stream. I'm so lucky that I'm the person who gets to sit here and chat with these fantastic creative people. So what does that get me thinking today? Lottie has reminded me that creating art doesn't always have to be a struggle, that it can be just something that you let happen and enjoy, and to have patience with yourself. If it's not working right now, put it aside, come back to it later, because looking at it with fresh eyes, you never know what you'll see. And of course, just that beautiful piece about advocacy and the anti-ablism work that Lottie is doing in her creative work and in her life. Just, you know, finding a way to be you and to live as colorfully and honestly as you want to, because no one else is going to do that for you. No one else is going to face that fear for you. Wow, Lottie, thank you so much. That's a fantastic reminder. But everyone, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being so supportive. And yeah, as always, I look forward to connecting again. Until we can connect and create in person, I look forward to connecting and creating with you right here online. See you again soon. Mwah. Bye, everybody. And thank you. Thanks for being here. Bye.